Well, it's that time again. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the interview with Craig Veltri.
Thank you, Megan Pennington, and welcome to the interview. I think the one thing that most of the musical guests on this program over the years have in common is that they tend to wear their hearts on their sleeves. Our guest
Mhm.
tonight is very candid in her description of her survival from addiction and her life in recovery. Her music is hardly maudlin, often utilizing alt pop and dance elements to lift up the subject matter. However, her upcoming a cappella re release of her song I Surrender stands alone as her letting go of internal demons at the last possible moment. She will perform I Surrender at the end of this episode live. Recording in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and calling in from Nashville, Tennessee, here she is, Jourdan Rystrom. Jourdan, welcome to the interview.
Thank you so much for having me.
The pleasure is all mine. I do want to start for recovery, 10 years sober. Congratulations on
Yeah,
that.
thank you.
I've done a little bit of research even past your bio. It turns out you are, I think, the third or fourth person I've had on this program that actually has training from Berkeley School of
Yes.
Music.
Yes.
Can you maybe just describe how you wound up getting into Berkeley, and perhaps what is the one thing that you hold on to as far as that education is concerned?
Yeah, great question. Well, Berkeley, I will say it had been my dream ever since I found out about the school at age 15. I grew up in Minnesota, or I call it Minnesota. Um,
I don't think you're the only one.
yeah, I grew up
Yeah, they
there.
got a problem with ice up there now, but
Yeah,
I digress.
seriously. Talk about Minnesota. I mean, that's a whole nother podcast for another day.
Yes.
But yeah, I grew up and actually it was my high school, one of my high I had a lot of boyfriends. One of my high school boyfriends, he was obsessed with the band Dream Theater. Are you familiar with Dream Theater?
Look at the haircut. What do you
Okay,
think?
yes. Okay. Well, wait for this. Okay. He just shared with me his love for Dream Theater. And, I'm 15. I'm, of course, like, any guy I was dating, I was absorbing all of his music too. And then I was becoming a major fan of it. So I started to love Dream Theater. And he told me how he wanted to go to Berklee College of Music one day because that's where they went and they met there. And this was also when John Mayer was huge and he went to Berklee, just all, oh, you go to Berklee and you get famous, right? And this person shared with me, he wanted to go to Berkeley, and um, that's where Dream Theater came to be. And so I not only have a massive love for Dream Theater, they're my favorite band still to this day. I'm a prog rocker at heart. But I actually, that's the story, as cringe as it is. Like, I applied for Berkeley because Dream Theater went there. And I will say that I applied early action. I flew to Chicago and did an early action audition, and I received a scholarship for vocal performance to attend. A partial scholarship, not a full one, but it was helpful in making it possible for me to go there. So
Well, you weren't financially devastated by the experiment, but what is the one thing from your education that carries through with you in your music today?
well, financial devastation, we can talk about that later. Yes. But one thing I carry through today is the connections that I made there. The network. I mean, a lot of people do go there for the network, and the education is like the cherry on top. So I really feel like the network that I still have today, I still talk with, work with, collaborate with Berkeley alumni all the time. I was actually on a call with them just before our call. So like I'm always connecting. It's a really, really wonderful network, and I'm so grateful to have that.
I don't find it entirely surprising that you consider yourself a prog rock fan. What I've noticed about prog rockers as they get later on, maybe not Dream Theater, maybe not bands that really stick to the huge pieces. There are parts of some of their careers. Let's talk about bands like Yes, talk about bands like
Mm.
Genesis that talk about bands that broke off from bands like King Crimson that had later success in the pop realm, and they seem to maybe not dumbed down their style, but
Mhm.
simplified their style and were able to kind of pinpoint the finer points and make some really great pop songs. And
Yeah,
you make some very, very great pop songs yourself. Is
thank
it
you.
is it is it a similar distillation of that stuff, or are your songs just coming out as simply as you write them?
Yeah, good question. So I feel like I have these like two personas. I'm a Gemini. They call us, the double sign.
The
So
fault,
I
dear
have
Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves that we are underlings. But continue.
Yes. So I have the Jourdan listens. I've got the Jourdan listens, all these amazing people who I listen to, but it's nothing like what I write, nothing like what I channel through musically. So, Dream Theater's up there, Coldplay's up there, the Beatles are up there. Like I got this whole array of different inspirations. Nicole Nordman, all sorts of stuff. And then there's Jourdan, the Pure Channel, who as a songwriter, as a singer, I literally just open up and I allow what wants to come through, and songs like land in my lap. It's like a download that pops in. I know everyone, experiences a little bit differently, but I think of it as like if we're this supercomputer, I'll have like a download be like, you've got mail, right? And I sit down at my piano and I literally have to figure out the chords. They're coming in so fast with the words, with the lyrics. It's kind of all together. I have to figure out what chords are coming through to capture it before I lose it. So I feel like they're totally separate entities, if that makes sense. There's like what I listen to and play with and have fun with and dance with, and then there's what I write. And I will say that there are inspirations that I have, like Alanis Morissette, for example, and a lot of like the 90s grunge pop and rock. Like I grew up on listening to Cities 97, which is a popular Minnesota music radio
I've heard
station. So yeah, so I kind of like grunge 90s alternative. I feel like that I definitely have those influences in my music. But as for prog rock, I performed it at Berkeley, but I don't know if I have prog rock influences except for my song So Close. I don't know if you've heard that one yet,
I
but
don't
that
think I
one
have.
does. Okay, that one does actually. My
Well, yeah,
music video is coming out for that one soon.
congratulations. It's not going to play on this episode, but I do a year-end music showcase. So anytime I don't have somebody has a music video that comes out within the year, they get a spot on the year-end music
Cool.
showcase here on the Craig-Veltri interview with Jourdan Rystrom here on the Craig-Veltri interview, a service of Scarfire Media, coming soon to scarfiremedia.com. The site will be going live this week, so keep your eye out for it and listen to all the great podcasts on the Scarfire Media Podcast Network. Cool Brother Podcast, Emmy Susani's brand new podcast, Fire Pit coming back, and keep your eye out for Mommy Rockstar starring Megan Pennington. And thank you for listening to the Craig-Veltri interview. I find that most people say that their first instrument was piano. You mentioned that you do most of your writing at the piano. Was the piano your first instrument?
Hmm. I will say piano, guitar, and flute, I started all at the same time, but my first instrument was my voice.
Uh, Technically,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Were you so obviously classically trained to get into Berkeley? So when did
Hmm.
that training begin?
Whew. I think my mom put me in actual like voice, piano, flute lessons when I was about 10 years old. And right away upon, starting all of these lessons, my music teacher told me and my mom, she's like, Jordan's ready to start auditioning for things because I'm also I love musical theater. I'm an actress. I'm a performer at heart. Put me in the spotlight. I can entertain, right? So my music teacher at the time was like, start auditioning for things. And as you audition and you need to learn these songs, we'll work on those songs. You'll learn to play them, you'll learn to sing them, right? And so the first thing I auditioned for, I landed the lead role in a major college musical, and I was the lead child star in The Secret Garden. So for Bethel College, which is a huge college in Minnesota. So yeah,
What, the musical version, or was this a dramatic version?
the musical version. Yeah, I was Mary Lennox, the British girl. I heard someone crying. Yeah, it was.
I mean, I tried out for it too, but Talking Birds and Tales of Fairies kept me scared away. But you see what I did there. But I, so obviously you have kind of a wunderkind beginning, and obviously it led you towards Berkeley. But your story also mentions your includes addiction and it includes recovery. At what moment did you say enough's enough? And is it contained in "I Surrender"? Like literally, you had a tag on your arm and that kind of trauma.
No, actually, I Surrender was written initially about my birth story. So I'm also a mother of two children. So I Surrender,
Boy, girl, how old?
two boys. So August is now, I know, thank you. I need all the blessings. Seriously. It is a wild house of testosterone and chaos here. Um, literally. We were locked in for 14 days with the ice storm down here, and it was 14 days with three boys. Just no. I was ready. I was like ready to just get out of the house and breathe. But yeah, so August is 5, almost 6. He's in kindergarten, and Aiden is just turned 3. We just had his birthday party last week, and um, they're, extensions of my heart out in the world, but they are wild, wild and neurodivergent. So August
Mm.
is autistic and ADHD, and Aiden was just diagnosed with autism as well. I don't think he's not the hyperactive one, but August is like Energizer Bunny baby, just bouncing off the walls. So who knows? He might visit us here today. We'll see. I'm trying to keep him under wraps downstairs, but so yeah, I actually wrote "I Surrender," the song you'll hear at the end of this episode, about my birth experience with August, because I bore him. I gave birth to him at the end or at the start of COVID, right when everything was shutting down and nobody knew what was going on, right? And it was like a pure surrender. So that strip around my arm that you see in the album art that was the only thing I was wearing as I was birthing him. So it was a full surrender.
Okay. Well, you made a full surrender to drugs and alcohol 5
Yes.
years prior to that. So
Yes.
what was the enough moment for you?
Yes. Um, I was I kept getting these little moments, like I mentioned with channeling a song. It's like, I call them a download, right? I kept getting these little intuitive like downloads of, hey, Jourdan, are you done yet? Like, are you done yet with using, abusing, drinking, drugging, right? I just kept getting these messages like, hey, there is this beautiful life that is planned for you. That's almost like call it destiny. But you have to choose to put down the bottle. You have to choose to put down the pills. You have to choose to put down people pleasing and codependency and all the other stuff that's enmeshed with addiction, right? I call addiction a maladaptive coping mechanism because it's not necessarily the specific drink or the specific pill. It's like, what are all of these things that we do that are technically maladaptive, but we're trying to cope with something? A lot of times it's because we're numb and we're unwilling to do the deeper digging to actually feel the grief, the rage, whatever it is, right? Whatever trauma we experienced, that usually causes the addiction. And again, I'm a certified hypnotherapist and transformation coach now, so I
Yeah.
help people get to the root of the problem and heal it, right? But back when I was in it, I just kept getting these little intuitive notes of like, hey, like we, and I'm a very spiritual person, so whatever your belief system is, I respect. But it for me, it was like my angels saying, we have cash and prizes waiting for you on the other side of your decision to surrender. But we will never force you because we live in a free will universe. You get to decide. But just know that there's this really beautiful life over here for you, but you've got to choose to set all that stuff down and trudge the road of happy destiny forward.
So was there
It-
one moment in particular where these angels were just finally like it sounded as glamorous and you were willing to listen?
well, well, I love the way you describe things. Um, it was more of like feeling really bad. Kind of like, at first it was a whisper of like, hey, like choose a different road. We encourage you.
Oh,
And then
it's suggestive only, of course.
yeah, but then it was like a poke, and then the poke turned into a slap, like metaphorically, right? Because I was experiencing all this convulsion in my life, right? Like driving home drunk one night and popping my tire. Thank God it was just my tire and not a person. And then one time it was blacking out after performing and throwing up everywhere on the person that I performed at's home and not
Yeesh.
knowing until I got home 45 minutes later. And I don't even know how I got home because my car was still back there. So it's like those types of things where I'm like, okay, I'm blacking out. I don't know what I did the entirety of this night. I don't like not having access to my psyche. And so like the metaphorical slaps became like getting hit by a 2x4 and I didn't want to get hit by a semi. You know what I mean? It's like I was like, I don't want to suffer more to learn this lesson that I know I need to embody. And I hadn't chosen that full embodiment yet. I had been tiptoeing with it, but I hadn't been ready yet until heartbreak. Heartbreak was the thing. Losing losing someone that I really, really loved. And that person walked away from me and said, Jourdan, I love you, but I can't do this anymore. Ugh, it's like, oh, that sting where you're like, dang, that's real love. That's unconditional love. Someone walking away and really giving you the keys to your freedom by saying, I love you so much, I'm letting you go.
I don't want to give the woman in question credit, but that's kind of what happened to me about 4 years ago.
Mm,
So I completely and utterly agree. So,
yeah.
and in that moment in my life, I found that it was I wouldn't say that I was just at a point personally in my recovery where, I didn't really care. I was either going to make it to rehab or I was going to die. I didn't really care which. And if I
Yeah.
was going to make it to rehab, I was going to actually take what I had learned and I was going to apply it and learn how to not blow up my life again. And what
Hmm.
I noticed in the 15 years prior to when I had gotten sober, a lot of the people who do go through recovery they wind up becoming therapists
Yeah.
or they wind up becoming clergy in some way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and in your case you became a hypnotherapist and also you do uh, uh somatic therapy I believe is what
Hmm.
it's called as well.
Hmm.
uh is were these things how early in your recovery were you learning about these particular techniques,
Hmm.
or perhaps it was before, and when did it come to you as like this might be a good way to carry the message to others?
Yeah. Great question. Yeah, I learned about it all after. Like, remember the angels, right? We're saying, hey, there's cash and prizes on the other side of this. There's a path that you're supposed to
Fabulous cash and
take.
prizes.
Fabulous. Yes. I'm still waiting for my lottery winnings. We'll get there someday. Um,
Aren't we all? They were
um,
saying there's a chance.
there's a chance. There is a chance. It's true. Yeah, I was got it's like I surrendered to the sobriety. I said I choose me. I choose this. I choose this path. And I chose to walk away from the person I was dating at the time, not the heartbreak one, the kind of the rebound one that
uh,
chose not to stay sober when I
that
was.
happened to me too.
Yep.
Go on.
It's a pattern. But I walked forward. I also lovingly left that person because he was not interested in staying sober at the time. And I was like, okay, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I know I can take the next step in front of me. I utilized, 12-step programs at the time, got a sponsor. I surrounded myself with positive people. And that's when it's like this road opened up. Again, call me crazy, but it truly is what happened. I was guided to all of these mentors, like mentor after mentor after mentor. It's like I was just divinely guided to them, to work with them, to study with them. And so I decided to, as I was healing myself, like I always wanted to be a few steps ahead or a few rungs up the ladder, but I wanted to take everything I was learning and capture it and then distill it in my own unique flavor, my own unique way to share with others, right? And so as I'm healing, as I'm transforming myself, I'm like kind of building this spiritual toolbox per se, right? All these little tools and modalities. And so I started with like energy work, Reiki, and then I studied crystal healing. I kind of got like over in that world for a while. And then I started offering my own services, and my business is called Awaken the Glow. So it's about helping awaken that light within, right? We don't have to repress it anymore. We don't have to numb it anymore. We can let that light shine because it's also our creative light. And then after kind of after kind of mastering the energetics of that world, I found hypnotherapy. And that was like, ooh, the bread and butter for me. Cause I was like, ooh, I love the subconscious. Cause like it's
Now,
kind of
when you say hypnotherapy, people
yeah.
automatically might go to thinking hypnosis, the
Mhm.
pocket watch, you're getting very sleepy. Is there elements of that? And if not, what is there? Clear some
Mhm. Yeah,
misconceptions
yeah.
about hypnotherapy.
Thank you. Yeah. The pocket watch thing is more of like a film and TV effect. Um, Technically, yes, like your goal is to relax your mind so that you can allow it to, my mentor calls it a massage for the mind.
Mm,
Hypnotherapy is a massage for the mind with a specific goal, right? So if someone, for example, the hypnotherapy shows that you see like in Vegas, right? They're like, okay, cluck like a chicken. Like the people on stage are up there because they want to be silly. They want to act silly. So they're actually giving their consent to cluck like a chicken, right? Let me clear it up. Like you can never, with hypnosis, you're never going to do anything without your consent. It works if you want it to work. So like when it's a show, and there are hypnosis shows that aren't therapeutic, but they're entertainment, it's because, the people that raise their hands, they want to do it. Think
right.
about it, right? They're not doing it against their will. So there's like the entertainment side of hypnosis, which honestly gives the therapeutic side a bad rap, but it is what it is. And I just, everything that I do is so integrous with what my clients' goals are. And I do really powerful one-on-one work with clients. I do some group programs as well, but it's hypnotherapy, it's a massage for the mind, it's meditation with a goal. And all we're doing is we're accessing the subconscious mind, which is your infinite creative mind. It's where we channel our art from, our music from, our poetry from. And when you get in that flow state, when you're like writing a song or playing something, and I'd call it like that flow state. You're tapped in, you feel euphoric, right? And you're not on any drug, you're totally sober. That feeling I can help you access through hypnosis, and we can make powerful, positive changes like instantaneously. And then we can code it in and rewrite it and heal trauma and like cut old loops and old patterns that aren't serving you anymore. And you can leave all that behind, and we can like weed the garden of your subconscious. I'm such a nerd. I'm a subconscious nerd. I love this stuff.
uh, it's obvious you're passionate about that, and you bring up change.
Mhm.
3 years into your sobriety, you'd written a song called "Dead Sober." At the time, you had blonde hair down to your
Yes.
shoulder, and we see you today, and you don't have blonde hair
Yes.
down to
Yes.
your
I got a
shoulder.
freshly shaved head.
Uh, um, you know, I, you know, the answer can just be as simple as I wanted to, but
Mhm.
why this? It is a very stark change from
Yeah.
back then.
Yes, it is. So, me shaving my head was something that I did 3 years ago. And it was another. So, kind of everything that I embody as a brand, as an artist, as Jourdan. I'm actually working on a book right now called The Art of Surrender because I truly believe that there is an art to this. I do believe it can be learned, it can be harnessed, it can be practiced, it can be mastered. So I feel like a lot of my life is about this mastery of surrender, but also not only mastering it myself, showing others how they can further surrender in their lives as well. And so the art of surrender, part of it is me exploring new avenues and new ways to kind of push my edges of surrender, right? Without drugs or alcohol, without all the old ways of living. And so
Possible, folks.
yeah, it is possible. So part of it was 3 years ago, I was a part of this mastermind. It was an artist mastermind. It was really cool. Women from like 6 women from all different parts of the world. We came together. It was called Rapture. And it was this artistic mastermind where we met every month on Zoom and we channeled poetry, we did spoken word, we did dance. And all of our work together. Again, we lived in New Zealand and Nashville and Hawaii and just all over. We came together for a week in Kauai, right, the uppermost island in
Yeah.
Hawaii, and we all got to film something called, which our mentor called it a legacy piece. And now
Okay.
this legacy piece it's a 5 minute kind of documentary encompassing our life's mission. Not a big deal or anything, just encompass your entire life's mission in one piece to share with the world, your
Oh,
legacy.
okay. So, if I'm following your legacy is shaving your head.
Well, no, not my actual legacy, but my legacy is sharing the art of surrender with people
Okay.
and expressing that through my words, my art, my music, my poetry, all of it. But our guide, our mentor, she expressed to us that while we're filming this piece, she doesn't just want us to talk to the camera. She wanted us to do something that scared the F out of us. I don't know if I can swear on this. So, so
We're
she
not
said,
FCC regulated.
yeah, she's like, I want you to do something that scares the shit out of you. And I instantly knew I was supposed to shave my head. It was like in that moment, I was like, oh my gosh, Jourdan, shave your head on camera and make this beautiful spoken word documentary about it. And it's going to be this art piece. And that's going to truly be an embodiment of, dude, this girl's a badass.
Mhm.
Like, she knows how to surrender. And also a big F you to like the beauty standards of the world, how to be a girl, just I also am kind of this sacred disruptor, right? I'm kind of like a little rebel. And the fact that I really want to be a living, walking permission slip for women and anyone to just be themselves and not have to subscribe to this societal programming that was all made up anyway.
And that's
So,
why I've decided to stick with the look ever since.
well, I didn't know I would stick with the look. I thought I would grow it back initially because I just wanted to do it for this documentary because I love making art and I love pushing the edges of things. But after I shaved my head and I had that first look in the mirror at myself, it was a moment for me. I finally saw myself. Like I was like, this is me. I wasn't hiding, but like, and I had beautiful long blonde hair.
You did.
Everyone commented on how beautiful it was, how gorgeous it was, but that's why I needed to let it go. It's like the Achilles heel, right? It's like let go this thing that everyone says makes you you and see who you are underneath, right?
I am kind of you in the opposite direction. I always had
Mm,
very short hair all of my life, very
yeah.
preppy upbringing, school had a dress code, and I listened to a lot of women who liked me with short hair. So after I got sober, after I got divorced, that was the last time I had gotten a haircut. And I got to tell you, I'm at the point where it's like I don't know when I'm going to cut this
Yeah.
thing. I don't want to
Yeah.
cut it today
Yeah.
for sure. So
See, I love this. We're just an inversion of each other. Yeah, like I love this because Yeah, and it's like, and anyone who's listening to this podcast, whatever that thing is for you, like own it. Like lean into it even more. Like what brings you joy, what makes you happy, and it might just be for a season. You don't have to commit to it forever, right? So like for me shaving my head, I really didn't know it was going to be a forever thing. And still to this day, I don't know if this will be forever. I always tell people because they're like, "When are you going to grow it out?" I say, "When God tells me to." Like I'll
Well,
figure it out.
I mean, technically, you haven't taken the razor to it today, so technically, you are growing it out today. So, but
Yeah.
to the questions about the music, when you had released "I Surrender," we'll be hearing that song again at the end of the episode.
Mhm.
You released that song as kind of a I would say the production's kind of similar to some alt pop stuff. Becky Hill comes to mind,
Mm.
and stuff in that wheelhouse. You decided to release. You're going to be releasing the song again as an a cappella piece, and we'll be hearing the a cappella piece, as I said at the end of the episode. Why?
Yeah, because like I mentioned earlier, this song was written about my birth story with
Right.
my first birth of my first son, August. And it was quite the surrender. Anyone who's birthed knows, especially at the height of COVID. Like everything was stripped away. My support people, like all the things that I had planned for my safety was stripped away, and it was just me and God. And I wanted to do this song justice. Now, that's no shade to my incredible producer who produced the original track, Adam Clark. Big shout out to him. He's amazing. And I needed to like release it in some way. And back then, it came out as like this dance pop track, right? But I always knew that the heart of this song was raw and rugged and so real, just like the birth of a child, unmedicated at the height of COVID with no one there, you know?
And so one voice symbolizes the isolation of the situation. Would that be it?
Yeah, and so the version I'm releasing, it does have a guitar in the background in some parts. The version I'll sing today is completely a cappella, but the version I'm releasing, it has a really powerful end that I'm not going to give it away, but it definitely, I wanted to express exactly the moment that I called my baby back to earth because my son was born not breathing for 8 minutes.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Uh,
like I birthed him and he was dark purple. I mean, it was a whole thing where I had to move through in like 8 minutes. I had to move through I just gave birth to an unalive child and I failed. And I had to move through all of the emotions and the muck that brought out, right? And I also had to keep hope that he could come back and I had to call him in and sing him in. And so I actually, in this raw acoustic track, I sing at the end, like I call him back to earth and like it's so visceral and I love it because you know me, I'm like we got to feel to heal, right? So I know any mother who listens to this track will be weeping. It's so good. But I really feel like it's really made an impact on everyone that's listened to it so far. So I'm really excited to release it.
we look forward to hearing that song at the end. The question is never are you working on anything, but what's coming up next? So what's coming up next musically from
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, so other than this raw, visceral acoustic version being released of I
And a
Surrender,
music video, of course.
yeah, so that's something to hit follow on to make sure that you're gonna receive it. But yes, I do have a music video coming out as well. And that's a music video for my song called So Close, which is prog rock vibes and like the Evanescence too. Like there's just vibes on vibes in that song. So definitely check the music video. And the cool part about this music video is I filmed it in Berlin at the Berlin Wall. It's really,
Ooh.
really powerful. And I have long hair in that music video, and I was pregnant with my second child in that music video, and it's been a long time coming.
We'll probably see the music video on one of the year-end music showcases. So why'd you go all the way to Europe to shoot the video?
because I was coming back from a retreat that I was a part of in Turkey, Turkey now they call it, and I was flying back from Turkey. I had a layover in Berlin, and my creative best friend Brad just happened to be living there at the time, and we planned a little 4 day, you know, extravaganza where we walked around and we shot this video over the span of 2 days, really, and it came out so beautiful. I cannot wait for the world to see it. It's really, really magical.
Well, we have a nice way of closing here on the Craig-Veltri interview, Jourdan. It's called the No Kidding Questionnaire. A couple of rapid fire questions. First thing that
Oh,
comes to your mind whenever you're ready, and away we
oh,
go. Childhood celebrity crush.
oh, Justin Timberlake.
You probably would have caught on to him. Did you catch on to him in the NSYNC days, or were you on board with Justified?
No, in sync days.
What was it about him?
Just that he was the baby of the group, and he was him and Nick Carter. I mean, they were both like, and I mean, they were both the babies of their respective groups. So,
My sister was more of a Lance Bass fan herself,
yes.
but and I preferred NSYNC myself over Backstreet Boys too. But the follow up question to this: would you say that the kind of men you either chased or dated were they similar to Justin Timberlake?
Uh, Not physically, but probably emotionally.
You read Britney's book too. So okay.
Well, and his recent run-in with the law. I was like, yeah,
Uh,
probably. Yeah.
yeah. Uh, well, what was your favorite subject in school?
Logic.
Okay, so we're talking college courses here.
Like advanced math. Yeah. I was like really, really logical. I got an A++ in that. The college professor was like, I've never seen anyone be so good at this. And then I found out later that I'm neurodivergent AF and autistic as well. So I'm like, of course I would excel in that. Yeah.
I'll just go ahead and put you down as wrestling entrance music, "The Logical Song" by Supertramp.
Yeah.
What occupation other than your own would you like to attempt?
Mm. Well, on the same vein, being a lawyer because I love or a psychologist because I'm just so logic minded, but also really creative. I just feel like I could sweep the courtroom.
Okay, what practice of law would you be most interested in?
Like some sort of psychological law where I have to debate people and figure out the workings of probably like the criminal mind and, you know, disprove them somehow or I guess using the skill sets that I have now, but in like the courtroom and I don't know, like
Well,
I,
you
yeah.
mentioned psychiatry as a potential avenue as well. You already have a couple of certificates on your wall in
hmm
some forms of psychotherapy. Have you considered taking that next step and going for a graduate degree, a doctorate degree, perhaps in psychiatry?
Good question. I have not, and there's a reason why, because it's very regulated. Like the licensing is very regulated, and it's so the people that I've spoken to that I'm friends with that have gone all that way, they've expressed that it's like, you gotta follow the rules and stay in like 50-minute sessions and like bill insurance and I don't want to do that. I am so, like I said, I'm this justice warrior that like doesn't like the rules. I'm the rule breaker. And the sacred
Well, you did
disruptor,
mention you're
right?
a recovering addict too,
Yeah,
so
yeah, exactly. I know. I'm a proper addict. But I like to break the rules and I like to live between, the lines. And so with that said, I don't feel like having to function with those rules and regulations would be supportive for me or expansive for my clients. No shade to the industry. I know that that's, necessary, but I prefer where I get to create my own containers of support for clients and do it my way in whatever way works best for the client. So it's pretty strictly like just logistics. There we go, logic.
and furthermore, it's just it's more sounds like it's more open to discovery, not just in your own practice, but in discovery in your patients. So good on you for that.
Exactly. Exactly.
Moving on to the questionnaire on the other side of the coin. I don't care how many bags of money have been handed to you, Jourdan Rystrom. What job would you never want to attempt?
A garbage man?
Popular answer, and I'm sure self-explanatory.
Yeah. I mean, they're so nice to us. They wave at the boys and honk for them, but I just, the smell and I'm just not a gross person like that. Yeah.
mhm. Well, perhaps you've mentioned you've been to Europe, you've been to Hawaii, you've been here, there, and everywhere.
Asia. Yeah, all over.
What is your go-to food on a road trip?
Mm. Like if we stop at a restaurant?
Mm, Yep, just anything grab and go.
Oh, grab and go. Probably like a brisket sandwich.
Mm. Tell me you like Buc-ee's without telling me you like Buc-ee's.
Exactly. You know.
I mean, I'll say this about. I mean, I prefer anything that's chicken at Buc-ee's because I go for the brisket, I go for the pork. I'll just start by saying it was yummy going down, and
And
that's
not going out.
and then extra stops on said road trip. But
Uh,
I
yep. That paired with an energy drink and you're gone. Yeah.
ixnay on that eel may. Um,
Oh, you're funny.
thank you. If you could have dinner with anyone, dead or alive, perhaps with a brisket sandwich, who would it be?
Oh my gosh, this is a hard question. I don't have time to ponder. Um, mm, Jesus.
That actually is a very popular response.
Is it?
Yeah, I've had a couple people say that one.
Okay.
Would yours be a meeting of gratitude or what's the deal?
Yeah, it would just be, I approach life and people with curiosity and whimsicality and wonder. And so it would just be wanting to get to know him more and why he said the things he said and, how he lived his life. And if the things that were written in the Bible were actually, they say it's supposedly written by God, but I'm like, we know it was written by man. So like,
Hmm.
what actually happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the earliest translation is not in the actual language the stories originated or the original text supposedly originated. So
Yeah.
there
There's
really isn't.
missing books. I believe there's missing books, and there's like the story of Mary Magdalene that's missing, and there's a lot of stuff and I'm a very like mystical, spiritual Christian, but like I love me some God and Jesus, but I also like, I know that there's more, and I'm here for that. I'm just a constant searcher.
It's fascinating the origin story not merely of Jesus Christ but how the church built from that story
Yes.
and eventually took over the world. So
Literally,
it
literally. And I grew up Lutheran in Minnesota. Oh yeah, you betcha up there. And so
Catholic in Pittsburgh. So yeah.
yes. Well, we learned about Martin Luther stapling the 95 Theses to the doors of the Catholic Church saying this is why y'all are fucked up.
Yeah. Or as Eddie Izzard put it, nailing a sheet to the door saying, I'm Benewton bitte. But
Yeah.
moving on with the questionnaire, and I'm sure this one's going to come a little bit quicker, Jourdan. What is your biggest pet peeve?
Ooh, I've got a lot of them. But now after having kids, people touching me with sticky hands. Like it is. Oh, like sticky, dirty hands touching me, like, it's like makes me want to scream and crawl out of my skin. I just hate it. I don't
You need
like
like hand sanitizer on holsters
literally.
or those wet wipes
Li
that keep around.
I have wet wipes in my car, like at every corner. So like, yeah, everywhere I turn, there's a wet wipe. Wash your hands first. So yeah, I'm like a very sensory person, and I like my soft and smooth, not sticky and crumpy.
Noted. Last question of the questionnaire. What is the best advice that anyone has ever given you?
Hmm. Best advice. Let them.
I know what you mean, but what do you mean?
Yeah. just let them, like, let other people's stuff is not yours to hold. It's not your responsibility. The way someone responds to who you are and how you show up, especially as people like us who are, we hold a lot of light, we hold a lot of vibrancy and big energy, right? When someone is triggered by that, like that is not our job to control, fix, or manage. It's not our job to save anyone. Let them, and continue to be that sacred disruptor, that reflector, that holds that light. Because, yeah, ain't nobody got time for that, you know?
I didn't take the big suggestion about 20 years ago. I wish I had, but
Mm,
I did take a lot of suggestions at that time, and the one big one that I taught suggested to you mentioned in less terms than I'm about to. It's doesn't matter what people think of you. Further, it's none of your business.
yes,
So
it's
let
not our
them.
business. Yeah, and also be okay with being the villain in someone's story. As long as you have been true to yourself and authentic and integrous within yourself, that's all you need. All we need is our safety here, and that's it.
Uh, I only mentioned this because that is pretty much the story contained in Inside the Cabin from Moonshine Vagabonds. The single's available now, and the album will be out on March 28th with that summary from the lovely Jourdan Rystrom. And we have one last bit of business for you to do. I already did it on my own accord, so I'm going to give you the stage for some shame self promotion. New music video coming out. I Surrender coming out sooner. When can we find it? Where can we find you? Plug your pluggables. Fire away.
Yes. So please, if you're listening to this, at the very least, connect with me somewhere on social media where you stay attuned. Instagram, it's at Jourdan Rystrom, Jourdanrystrom. On TikTok, I'm Awaken the Glow, just like you'd spell it, Awaken the Glow, Jourdan Rystrom. If you Google me and you spell my name wrong, Google will correct you and you can find me on all the
You
places.
know what? It actually did. This is true,
Yeah,
folks.
it does. I have mastered the art of SEO as well as surrender, my friends, and I know how to SEO this. Good one, right?
Very good.
Yeah. So you guys can literally botch my name in Google and you can still find me. So I hang out on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook still. I'm all over social media, but I also have my, healing business, Awaken the Glow. So just Google Awaken the Glow Jourdan Rystrom. You'll find my reviews, my client testimonials. You can book sessions with me, reach out to me. But follow my music on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, wherever your choice is. But let's make sure we're at least connected in one spot so that we can continue to play together.
We'll see you on the other side of the credit read, but I do want to say this was a lot of fun just talking to you. I hope we can talk more in the future. Jourdan, thank you so much for joining me here on the Craig-Veltri interview.
Thank you.
She did.
You see that? That was magic.
The Craig-Veltri interview, where Craig-Veltri interviews wonderful people, is a production of Scarfire Media, the voice of the independent artist. Written and edited by Craig-Veltri. Your announcer is Megan Pennington. The opening theme, Shut Up, I Love You, written by Trenton Chandler and Craig-Veltri, performed by Craig-Veltri, produced by Jack Gavin. The new single from Moonshine Vagabonds, Inside the Cabin, is available now on all streaming. Many thanks to the fine folks over at Antonio's Pizzeria this past week for having myself and Megan for the single release party. The album Inside the Cabin is due for release on March 28th. Keep it locked to all of our social media for updates on that record and when the next single from that record is going to be dropping. Also, want to mention something here for Scarfire Media. The brand new website for Scarfire Media will be live next week. So bookmark Scarfire Media. What is radio anymore anyway? Scarfiremedia.com. That will be the site for your voice for the independent artists here at Scarfire Media. All of the services that I've been talking about on here are in one place, scarfiremedia.com. Time now to update the event calendar because you must know where I am at all times. Friday, February 20th, I will be at Tin Roof Memphis from 7 to 10, myself and the Vagabonds. Saturday, February 21st, the Stillery on 2nd Avenue in Nashville from 7 to 10 p.m. Sunday, February 22nd, Fozzie's in Franklin, Tennessee from 2 to 5 p.m. And then on Thursday, February 26th, Holston House in Nashville from 6 to 10 p.m. For full dates, including Pittsburgh, Canton, Ohio, Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, and New York City, visit my website, craig-veltri.bandzoogle.com. For booking info, including full band and this podcast, email me at craig-veltri-official@gmail.com. For booking inquiries for Moonshine Vagabonds, visit us on all of our social medias under Moonshine Vagabonds and email us at moonshinevagabonds@gmail.com. You can find the interview on Facebook by searching the Craig Veltri interview, YouTube at Craig Veltri Music, and you can find me on Instagram, or as my old roommate, the Tommy Thomas, used to call it, Instagirl, at craig.veltri. With special thanks to Danny Felt for Jourdan Rystrom. I'm Craig Veltri, and this has been the Craig Veltri interview. With that, I'll pass. Here to perform I Surrender, ladies and gentlemen, once again, Jourdan Rystrom.
See me strapped down to a table wearing nothing but my name. I might bleed out. This can't be the ending of my story, not today. Just breathe, it'll be okay. Dear God, I'm so afraid. I know that it's all in faith, the unease of amazing grace. I surrender. Bright light shining in my face, I surrender. Ooh, you can take it all away, I surrender. Ooh, let go, I gotta have faith, I surrender. Ooh, to survive, I know that I surrender. Oh. Oh, 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 oh. The chaos, the climax, the story's untold. How far deep does this thing go? Can I peel back the layers that kept me from being me? Or is this all a dream? What if I lose it all? If so, I'm ready for the fall. I know that I'll be okay. The unease of amazing grace. I surrender. Bright light shining in my face, I surrender. Ooh, you can take it all away, I surrender. Ooh, let go, I gotta have faith, I surrender. Ooh, to survive, I know that I surrender. Out of body, I know what it truly means to be alive. Lifelong journey, there's no hurry. You and I were meant to fly. I surrender. Bright light shining in my face, I surrender. Ooh, you can take it all away, I surrender. Ooh, let go, I gotta have faith, I surrender. Ooh, to survive, I know that I surrender. I surrender. I surrender. I surrender. I surrender. I surrender. Ooh. Amazing Grace. I love you, August. Mommy loves you.